bacon burning a hole in your pocket. Just ahead, how rising prices could affect everything from your breakfast tacos to that 4th of July cookout. Plus, why the threat of nuclear warfare could force America's hand in the Israel-Iran conflict. Chris 6 News at 5 starts right now. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Clara Benitez Cortez. We begin tonight with breaking news. Former Republican Congressman Blake Farenthold has passed away at age 63. His death confirmed to Chris 6 News by Nueces County Commissioner Mike Pusley and 2 other sources. Farenthold served 1 term as District 27 Congressman from 2011 to 2018. It was a controversial term that ended with his resignation on April 6, 2018. In 2014, Farenthold was sued by a former director of communications who accused him of sexual harassment. Pressure for him to resign mounted in 2017 when it was revealed that Farenthold had used $84,000 in taxpayers' money to settle the sexual harassment lawsuit. After Farenthold's resignation, his District 27 seat was filled by Michael Cloud in a special election called by Governor Greg Abbott. And we have an update on Chris 6 investigation into the Corpus Christi Housing Authority. Chris 6 has discovered the Housing Authority may have violated state laws when approving $350 million in controversial apartment deals. They failed to provide proper public notice before purchasing 13 apartment complexes, potentially removing $7.4 million annually from local tax rolls. If the agreements violated the Texas Open Meetings Act, they could be declared void, potentially unwinding the entire program. The deals allow property owners to avoid taxes by transferring land to the Housing Authority, then leasing it back. Documents show investors could save millions, while some residents actually face rent increases. And shifting gears now to our weather. Today is a special day because it's the summer solstice, and meteorologist Julia Creedy joins us now. Julia, what is the summer solstice for those who don't know?
So the summer solstice is basically about, again, like you said, the first day of summer. It's our longest day of having the longest period of daylight, around 14 hours of that we're expected for today. So actually, it's a perfect. It lands on a Friday too, so hopefully you can have some plans to keep you out there in that sunshine a little bit longer for us today. Speaking of that sunshine, we can see that view right now as we look ahead towards Whataburger Field, featuring our Water Sky Cam. We can see looking at a bit of a mixture of cloud cover and sunshine for us this afternoon. Moments of those clouds becoming a little bit more heavier and thick at times just because of that moisture that's still rolling on in. That's also causing a bit of an influx of some rain activity, but that only remains to be spotty in nature for now. Looking at our temperatures, had a bit of a break only by maybe 1 or 2 degrees of cooler temperatures in the forecast today. Things are still warm though, don't get me wrong. Here in Corpus Christi sitting at 92 degrees with a feel like temperature of 102. 92 degrees as well over in Robstown, feeling like 103, and 91 degrees right now over in Kingsville with your feel like temperature also in the triple digits at this hour. Looking at Doppler radar, again seeing those very spotty showers passing through the coastal bend. Daily rain chances will be expected next week, and I have the details on that coming up.
Julia, thank you. In Rockport, the 2025 Ecosystem Summit taught neighbors more about their ecosystem and how to protect it. The event was hosted by the Rockport Art District. Activities like fishing and birding make up a large part of the city's tourism. Attendees had a chance to tour sites and hear from environmental experts like Charlie Belair. Neighborhood News reporter Adam Beam spoke with Belair about the mission of the Ecosystem Summit.
And if they take away today just one idea about what they can do to help preserve or restore our ecosystems, then the objective has been accomplished.
The Rockport City Council has officially declared today, June 20th, as Sustainable Ecotourism Day. And here in Corpus Christi, recycling has been a concern for some neighbors, and the city says the recycling program is making a positive impact. Today, the city announced its recycling contamination rate has dropped from 34% to 27%. The national average is 25%. Contamination can happen when food or liquids are mixed with recycled materials. The data comes from an audit completed by Republic Services that's conducted every year. And as the fighting between Iran and Israel continues, European leaders are working on their own ways to bring a peaceful end to the conflict. The foreign ministers from Germany, France, the European Union, and the United Kingdom will meet with the Iranian counterpart in Geneva, Switzerland. The leaders plan to discuss Iran's nuclear program and to try to get a commitment from Iran's supreme leader to only use the program for peaceful purposes. Israel has been repeatedly attacking Tehran nuclear sites in an effort to derail the program entirely. And while conflict continues between the two nations, the United States is monitoring the situation. Scripps News Group's Maya Rodriguez explains why the threat of nuclear warfare could impact how our nation responds to the Israel-Iran war.
It's an issue that's confronted American presidents for decades, Iran's nuclear program. The Iranian regime's efforts to enrich uranium came to public notice in the early 2000s. They claim it is for peaceful purposes, such as generating electricity, but there have long been fears that they could develop a nuclear bomb. Francesca Giovannini is executive director of the Project on Managing the Atom at the Harvard Kennedy School.
We know that they have some capabilities, but what we only know for sure is that the fissile material they have exceed what a peaceful program would require. What we don't know is the rest of it.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he ordered the attacks on Iran because Israel believes Iran is close to producing a nuclear bomb. But U.S. officials are divided on that. Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence, saying this before a congressional hearing earlier this year.
The IC continues to assess that Iran is not building a nuclear weapon.
But President Trump disagrees with that assessment.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having it.
Iran does have several nuclear facilities, many of which have been damaged in Israeli attacks. One of those damaged facilities was producing uranium enriched up to 60% purity, just a short step from weapons-grade levels of 90% purity.
Nuclear power plants in general operate with a maximum of 3% enriched uranium. So to be able to enrich at 60%, it means that Iran has acquired very advanced centrifuges.
All this as the world awaits what might happen next. Maya Rodriguez, Scripps News Group, Washington.
Rise up for Palestine! Rise up for Palestine!
The conflict has also made its way to the Lone Star State. Late last night, a protest was held at Austin City Hall. More than 100 demonstrators took part in the Hands Off Iran protests. President Trump says we'll have an answer on the country's role in the conflict within the next 2 weeks.
Bacon prices are sizzling, and one local restaurant is feeling the heat. I'm Michaela Chavez on the South Side. I'll tell you what this means for your next breakfast run.
You're watching Chris 6, part of the Scripps News Group.
Remember back in February when egg prices had us all scrambling? Well, now it's bacon that's sizzling, and not just in the pan. I'm Michaela Chavez, your Sunrise Neighborhood News reporter on the South Side. One local restaurant is feeling the heat as the price for bacon goes up. If you like bacon, get used to spending more for it.
Everybody wants bacon with their food in the morning, breakfast, bacon and egg. That's our top seller taco right there.
Bacon prices are higher this year compared to last. Reasons for the price hike vary. More demand globally, higher cost to feed and raise the pig, and raising wages. The inflation on bacon is being felt nationally and even here at home at La Tequila Mexican restaurant.
We do notice this because we buy it in big quantities.
Kitchen manager Milton Rodriguez says on Thursday he placed an order for 300 pounds of bacon, but even that amount won't even last them the whole week.
Roughly, we go through a week of about 400 pounds of bacon.
Rodriguez says half their menu items come with bacon. So let's do the math.
If we buy, say, 200 pounds every 3 days and it increased 30 cents, that's 200 times 30 cents, that increase. So that's a difference.
And if their prices increase, naturally, customer prices would too. But La Tequila knows that would be a hard hit.
We don't want, people being, they raised their prices. Let's not go there.
Instead, Rodriguez tells me they're already looking around to work with a different bacon provider in order for everyone to spend less. Experts say bacon prices are likely to stay high in the near future. La Tequila says upping their prices is their last resort. For now, they'll continue to look for a different distributor who can provide just as good quality bacon for less of a price. On the South Side, I'm your Sunrise Neighborhood News reporter, Michaela Chavez, Chris 6 News.
Michaela, thank you. And it's not just bacon prices across the board. Ahead of the 4th of July holiday that are also rising, the average cost of a backyard barbecue is up 4% from last year. According to a study from Rabobank, a cookout will cost $103 compared to $99 in 2023. For reference, the cost was $73 in 2018. And the biggest price jumps are for tomatoes, chicken, and ground beef. Burger buns dropped in price from last year. And if you're traveling to a 4th of July barbecue, you're not alone. More than 72 million people are expected to hit the road. That's according to AAA. They expect to see an increase of 1.7 million travelers compared to last year and 7 million more than 2019. AAA predicts a record 61.6 million people will travel by car and 5.84 million will fly. And holidays are usually when gas prices climb. So before you fill up your tank, let's send it to Brian Hoffman, who takes a look at the prices at the pump.
So with the conflict in the Middle East, we are seeing gas prices slowly tick up. So I am keeping track of those prices across the country as well as right here in the Coastal Bend for you to save you that extra little bit of cash. It adds up in the long run. Let's start off with a look at the national prices. According to Gas Buddy, a gallon of gas will cost you $3.19. That's actually up by 10 cents as of Monday. As for Lone Star State, well, we are sitting at $2.83. That is up by 13 cents since Monday, marking the biggest jump that I've seen in a single week since 2024. We do a bit better here in the Coastal Bend, though. Taking a look, the second and third place prices are tied. $2.83 at the Walmart on Flower Bluff and the Stripes on Staples in Yorktown. First place goes to the Citgo on Tiger Lane. But hey, all of our Portland friends, you're sitting pretty, doing way better in Corpus Christi. Cheapest price I was able to find on Gas Buddy, that is $2.26 at the HEB on Wildcat. Might be worth taking a trip over the bridge just to get those cheaper prices, right? Well, if you're out on the island, looks like you're going to be paying a little bit more. $2.94 is the cheapest I was able to find at the Valero on SPID and Whitecap. As always, if you can find cheaper prices than I've mentioned on here, might be worthwhile stopping and filling up.
Brian, thank you. Now let's take a look at our roadways. Julia Quady has a live traffic report. Hi, Julia.
Hey, Clara, and now let's go ahead and take it outside when we get our view from SPID, because those roadways are starting to get a little bit more full. Of course, it's Friday, the first day of summer. Maybe some folks are luckily getting the day off a little bit earlier, heading on home or making their way to any destination. Let's go ahead and take a look at those traffic flow maps to get a better idea we can expect on some of those roadways. Here we're pulling over to the Harbor Bridge in both directions. Again, things are looking to be pretty clear, heading on over into Portland or over towards the Corpus Christi area. Moving now towards downtown, clear on Ocean Drive for the most part. The same thing on SPID. A little bit some small bumps with some medium speed that you're going to encounter on Saratoga. Pretty much looking on the same, heading on Waldron Road and on Flower Bluff Drive, but all clear on the JFK Causeway going to and from the island. That's it for Trapport. The details of your forecast coming up after the break. Hey there, good afternoon and welcome back. I'm meteorologist Julia Quady. Happy Friday. We made it closer towards the weekend and happy first day of summer. Of course, that means we're going to be dealing with the longest daytime period here in the Coastal Bend and across the Northern Hemisphere. I have more details on exactly what that means for us in terms of the summer solstice and more details on that in just a few more moments. Right now, taking a look at the top of our USS Lexington Skycam, sponsored by First Community Bank. We can see some very thick, heavy cloud cover across the area right now. Still plentiful sunshine, but again, with that moisture and humidity that continues to build, that will mean extra cloud cover in our skies, but still again seeing that sunshine, and also along with that moisture, still seeing some spotty rain showers passing through portions of Coastal Bend. Right now, a little bit more shower activity happening for southern portions of the Coastal Bend nearby Falfurrias and Hebbronville, with some spotty showers there at the moment. But again, shower activity is not truly widespread. It's been in the same fashion that it has been over the past few days, and it's going to continue to be that way even heading towards this weekend. Looking at our temperatures, and feel like temperatures across the area having a bit of a break in terms of temperatures being a little bit closer towards below average, still nearby the range where it should be for this time of year, but again, maybe a degree or two cooler in some locations. Corpus Christi sitting at 92 degrees, still feeling like 102, 92 in Robstown with the feel like temperature of 103, 86 over in Ingleside, and over Port Aransas, you guys are sitting at 87 degrees, feeling like 99 degrees. So again, things are still hot and humid, even though technically temperatures might be falling a degree or two below average for us for this afternoon, heading towards our evening hours. Winds have been pretty consistent all throughout the work week, continue to be pretty breezy coming in from the southeast, anywhere upwards from 15, maybe getting close to 20 miles an hour over in the Bluff, with 18-mile-an-hour winds being clocked there. So a decent enough breeze to hopefully help out and counteract some of that humidity that we're still dealing with in the area on this Friday. Looking at our hour-by-hour forecast, things are going to begin to drop off with those temperatures, eventually reaching towards those upper 80s by 7 o'clock this evening, and eventually those lower 80s by 10 o'clock tonight. We'll also see a gradual decrease in terms of our wind speeds as well, going a little bit closer towards those single digits as we start to approach the midnight hour. So we'll start to see a bit of a change up in our winds in terms of their speed over the next few hours. Now, what's not going to change too much over the next few hours for us tonight is our rain chances. Those remain to be pretty slim and stray in nature over the course of our day, maybe starting to pick up a little bit overnight into the early morning hours on our Saturday. But again, still expecting nothing much of stray to maybe isolated showers at best over the morning, heading towards the afternoon on your Saturday. So any weekend plans that you may have, you can keep those on deck for yourself, because if anything, you'll just maybe be caught by a spotty shower or two over the course of your weekend. Before we get into more detail about your weekend forecast, today is the first day of summer. We'll have summer solstice at 9:42 p.m. So again, that means it's going to be the longest day of daylight for us here in the coastal bend across the northern hemisphere, where the sun is directly over the Tropic of Cancer. So that means things are going to be getting a bit more brighter for us in terms of getting more summertime type weather here in the coastal bend. Now, moisture will be changing ahead towards this weekend, a little bit of a dry spell somewhat coming in towards our Sunday, but temperatures will still remain the same, reaching towards those lower 90s, and still look at plentiful sunshine. But again, keep the umbrella in hand, because we'll still have daily rain chances ahead toward this weekend, even heading towards the early part of next week. So look at your 7-day forecast. Temperatures remain to be nearby average with passing showers.
All right, Julia, thank you. Well, you've got your forecast, but you'll want to stick around as we have plans for your Saturday on Coastal Bend Weekend. We'll be right back.
Now, the local events and fun things to do. It's Coastal Bend Weekend with the Hoffmans.
All right, folks, summer is officially here as of today. And if you're looking for a Coastal Bend weekend that is hot, heartfelt, and full of happenings, well, we've got you covered.
Oh, yeah. Let's start in the Bay Area as Juneteenth celebrations continue all weekend long.
Starting today, the Texas Association of Black Personnel in Higher Education is throwing a 3-day Juneteenth festival to mark the 160th anniversary of freedom.
Head to Water's Edge Park for live music, food trucks, and cultural vibes all the way through Sunday.
The lineup is stacked with talented artists hitting the stage nightly.
Plus, there's a health and wellness pavilion offering free mammograms all 3 days.
And don't miss the exhibits honoring Black heritage, history, and community resources.
Hang on to your hats because it's bull riding time in Beeville.
Yeehaw! The 3rd annual Veterans Memorial Bull Riding bucks into the Bee County Expo Center this Saturday at 6 p.m.
Kids can join the action too with mutton busting, wild calving, mini bulls, and junior riders hanging tough.
And yes, the Pro Bulls will be ready to rumble. All this rodeo fun supports our local veterans.
This summer, the Bay Jammin' Concert and Cinema Series is still rocking at Cole Park Amphitheater.
Tonight, it's time to get despicable, because Despicable Me 4 hits the big screen after sunset.
Bring your blankets, lawn chairs, and your inner minion. Admission is free for the whole family.
Banana. Calling all bookworms and dog lovers, it's time to read and roll over.
Every 3rd Saturday of the month, the Gulf Coast Humane Society invites you to snuggle up with some furry friends from 11:30 to 12:30. All ages are welcome.
Think you can handle the heat? Well, put your taste buds to the test over at Oasis Brewing and Barbecuing's Hot Wing Eating Competition. It's going to be a lot spicier than these ones, though.
Yes, this Saturday at 3 p.m. there will be 10 flaming hot wings for one fiery challenge. Sign up by 2:30 same day. It's $25 to enter, and apparently the prize is too cool to spoil, but definitely worth the sweat.
And hey, folks, if you want to find out any more information about any of the events we mentioned or some we didn't have time for, head to our website, christv.com.
And of course, folks, if you want to see your event featured on a future Coastal Bend Weekend segment, make sure you send us a message in your neighborhood from the Bay Area. I'm Michelle Hoffman.
And I'm Brian Hoffman. Have a great weekend.
Well, you've got your weekend plans, and now it's time to have some fun. It's summer weather out there. Make sure you're drinking plenty of water. We'll be right back with your 7-day forecast. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back. And we have some news. Julia, this is your last show for the 5 o'clock for now.
For now, yes.
Tell us where you're going.
Yes, we're having a little bit some small shifts going on with the weather team. So Stephanie's going to be taking the helm for night side weather coverage. I'm going to be now taking her shift, moving to sunrise beginning on Monday. It's a temporary shift for now until we get a new member of our weather team coming in shortly. So if you want to catch me, you just got to join me bright and early.
Bright and early, 5 a.m., 6 a.m.
Yep.
But, and then who will be doing noon?
So Diamond Dixon, she'll be taking care of noon on her 3